Welcome everyone to another live episode here on InfoSec Live, where we give you, our audience, the chance to learn from and engage with our industry's leadership. And today we have a special vendor experience for you to enjoy with Cody Kennedy, the founder of Connect.io. But before we bring him on and discover how he's about to positively disrupt the way vendors engage with their customers, for those new to the channel, I'm your host, Simon Linstead, and by sharing stories and best practice over the last few months, it's led to over 100,000 views here on YouTube by you, our amazing 7,500 subscribers. So a huge thank you for your engagement, and thanks to your support, it's also led to the launch of our in-person community-driven events in the UK and the US, with a focus on knowledge sharing, networking, and definitely no sales pitches. Should have brought a QR code up there. Getting slack at this. Hold on one sec. There we go. Check out our events page right there for more info, with events planned for London in November and December this year, and a return to the US tour kicking off in early 24 with New York, Miami, Austin, and good old Tampa. But meanwhile, back in the community, for those of you looking to break into the industry or those of you looking to up your game, we have study groups, mentor sessions, and regular networking sessions to help you raise your game in cybersecurity. Next QR code, join us using this free QR code link right here. And if you'd like to support the wider InfoSec Live community, or indeed just buy me a cheeky decaf coffee, we do have a way you can show your appreciation here on our YouTube channel with 3 tiers of membership, allowing you to show your support in any way that you can. But whether you join or not, being here and engaging with our content is what really matters. So if you're watching this live, please do like and subscribe. We want these events to be as interactive as possible, so make sure you drop any questions in the chat. Okay. Time for the show. And as I said, I'm joined today by Cody Kennedy, who's a friend and an inspiration, and I honestly think about to change the way vendors and leaders interact in the industry. Let's bring him on. Here he is.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, depending on what part of the world you're on.
Good day, if we were.
Good day.
Yeah. Cody, thank you. Thanks for taking the time to come on. Before we dig in, I suppose to give everyone watching a little bit of context, you and I have been chatting on a daily basis now, probably for the last, 4 or 5 weeks, something like that?
Yeah,
something like that. And we were introduced, I believe, by Jay Tilson, who's a colleague of yours at Axis and a good friend of mine over here in the UK. And the introduction was, you need to meet this man. He's about to completely disrupt the market. So not putting you up on a pedestal at all there, Cody, but before we dig in to what it is you've been working on, shall we start with a bit about you and how you got to where you have now?
Yeah, absolutely. And before I get started, thank you so much for inviting me and allowing me to I guess tell everyone about Connect, and it's been a hell of a journey, to say the least. Let's see. I guess kind of how it started. I was in the accounting finance world, Texas State, on track to graduate and pursue my CPA. I was randomly reached out by a recruiter, and to speed it up, I ended up accepting a job with Access Security. And that kind of flipped my whole career path around. And from what I know now, is a blessing in disguise.
So what? Stop there a minute then. So what was the intention? What did Cody want to do before you came into the security world? What was the plan?
Unfortunately, I have a love for numbers, accounting, and I was relatively good at it. I was actually in the middle of my second audit internship when I left for Access Security,
Okay.
and and so after so sorry, Access, if you're watching this, they hired me not knowing I wasn't graduated, and that was something. Yeah, that was something I was gonna tell, and they didn't ask, so why not?
Why
And
would you?
then the
Yeah.
semester rolled around, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be late a couple days." And then they're like, "All right, as long as you keep doing your thing." But speed up from June to November. I was actually it was November 8th at 8:16 p.m. I was just doing my prospecting, and then I ran across this post on LinkedIn, and it was by CISO. It was pretty lengthy, and to summarize it, he was like, "Look, I know technology is constantly improving, innovating, but I do not have time to give you 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. I have a job to do." And then at the end of it, he was like, "Leave me the hell alone," pretty much. And he was like, "There has to be a better way for vendors and users to communicate." And then that's when the light bulb went off. And ever since then, I've been working on this Connect, and then also continuing my job with Access Security. We got acquired, and now I'm with HP.
And I think I think it's worth just going back a minute here, because the one thing you haven't mentioned, and I'm sure it's on everyone's minds who's watching, you've had a full-time job. When did you start working on Connect? How long ago?
November 8th,
November 8th last year.
2022.
2022. So for the last year, you've been building a business in your spare time, getting very little sleep, and still working at Axis. How has that affected your performance at Axis, or am I now going to get you sacked? Was that the wrong question?
Um, I'm a very competitive person, and I can sleep when I'm dead. So I don't like. I'm not. Oh, I don't have time. Like, if you want to get something done, you will make sure you get it done, and that's just in my competitive nature to be number one. And also, if you're as passionate and you want to work towards something, you're gonna figure it out. So I've figured it out.
So does that mean you're still pretty much one of the top in the company for sales then, for what you do?
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to like.
Why,
I
why be
like
so
I,
modest? Why be so
because like
modest?
you're only as strong as your weakest link, and it's not me, it's my team, and I wouldn't be in that position if it wasn't for Jeff Luttrell, my manager, for Samora, and then
Of
all my
course.
colleagues. So I don't like to put the spotlight on me. It's just
No, however,
they've given me the skills.
you've still got to take some credit for being able to do both of those things and still perform effectively well in your day job. So I think you definitely deserve a pat on the back for that. So what is your role at Axis? You a SDR?
Yes, so this is kind of revealing my cards now. If you go on my LinkedIn, it says solution specialist because I was like, everyone hates, not sorry, people don't like being bombarded by SDRs and salespeople. So I have my own lab, and I also am an SDR, cold calling, emailing. So I wasn't necessarily lying, but I
I think
wasn't.
it's
I
all
guess
it's
I'm
all about
stretching the
it's all
truth.
about positioning, right? And you've
Yes,
positioned
yes.
it correctly. I think when I did some consultancy for a penetration testing firm last year, they were talking about what job title to give me. And I said, you can give me, I don't care about titles, but just don't put sales in it, because I know it's going to get rid of. So I was the global head of business innovation, which
Ah,
covered a multitude of sales skills. Yeah.
yeah, that does not scream sales to me.
No. So talk to me about, you told us when the light bulb moment was, but just elaborate on that a little bit. I mean, we have guests on every week who, as a rule, complain about the way vendors are approaching them, trying to get their time. There doesn't seem to be a solution, because we've got people with targets, right? In sales, we all have targets that we have to hit. We're all aware that there's a long-term gain as well as a short-term gain, and it's important to balance the both. But without those short-term figures, and which you can sometimes only get by harassing people in the current state of play, it makes it very difficult for leaders who haven't got established relationships with vendors perhaps to get the right information they need. And it also means you see a lot of animosity all over LinkedIn from leaders who complain about people like you bombarding their inbox, right? So talk to me a bit more about how you saw a way to solve that problem. We can't, by the way, everyone who's watching, we can't give away too much today because launch date is January, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I've got to kick Cody under the table if he mentions too much.
So that's like the magic question, because based off of the CISOs I've connected with, before Connect was even a thing, I like to build those personal relationships. And it was I asked Jared Beeson, and I was like, "What's the magic bullet? Like, what's the magic sauce?" And he was like, "Dude, I don't have an answer for you." And so, on one end, CISOs, VPs, your directors, they're always like, "Be personal, do your research, et cetera, et cetera." But there's only so much a salesperson can do without including their social security number, dang near, and to be personal. But it's like a never-ending circle of you're being personal, but you're not receiving the response you want. You're not like continuing the sales process.
And I think one of the biggest things we see is that you need to build rapport and you need to add value first. Well, building rapport, unless you're going to give me any of your time, is extremely difficult, no matter how much research that you do. And from a security leader's point of view, when they come to look into the market, especially for the newer leaders, it can be a really daunting place, effectively not knowing where to start. So I think that maybe brings us on to the stage you're at with Connect, and for us to talk a little bit more about what it is you're doing with that platform as much as you can, Cody, if that's all right.
Absolutely. So Connect, so I guess summarize it without, because I need to watch what I say, because I could go on and on. But users are now going to be able to have a platform where they can sign on, and then I'm trying to figure out, imagine Netflix, but replace the movies and shows with vendors without star ratings or reviews. And it's catered to each individual, powered by our home-built AI. And then these users can research, review, compare, contrast, and then directly engage with these vendors anonymously. But before they reach out to a vendor, they have to update their connector status. And there's three options of: I have an active project, I'm seeking more information, meaning I could have a project on my timeline, or I'm just simply exploring. So you can indicate to the vendor where you are in the process, and that's that. And once you reach out to them and say the conversation goes good and all that good stuff, then users there's a toggle I have, and you can turn it off and then reveal your information. And when you do that, unless a vendor has written consent, they still can't contact you or solicit you outside of the platform. So this gives you like privacy. It gives you the comfort of, I don't sell personal information. I hate when my data is scraped, and I'm building this to help. I'm not building this to be another platform, lead generation, any of that. So it's anything I could do to help add value to both, then so be it.
Okay. And what are you looking for at the moment? Are you looking for CISOs, right, or leaders or decision makers to get in touch with you, give you feedback on what you built so far, hopefully get some more positive feedback, and hopefully get them to register as a pre-user? Am I right in thinking that?
100%, yes. And so, in quick note for the ones that are asking or thinking, it's free for users to sign up. It's just like as easy as signing up for LinkedIn. But my target is to get CISOs on board, because if the top dogs are on board, it's just going to sprinkle down, because they're always like, we have this project, go do your research, and they have teams dedicated to go do that. So if the main guy's doing it, then it's just going to fall, like have the waterfall effect, and then everyone else can go on and then utilize the value behind Connect.
Okay, so okay, playing devil's advocate then. Are you going to add all the vendors onto this before you engage with them? So is it going to be a whole of market offering where people can effectively see an established market offering from most providers out there?
Yeah, so that's one thing. There's 39,000 cybersecurity vendors globally to date, and projected by 39,000.
Oh my God.
And projected to be around 55,000 by 2030. And if you have a project, technology is always changing and always innovating. So to find that startup that is groundbreaking, you simply can't, because if you go to Google and search up like cybersecurity, zero trust, you always have your market leaders that pay to play, and they're the first ones you see. And so I built this platform, and I'm pre-populating with as many as I can. I don't want to tell the number I have specifically, but I'm pre-populating this because this gives, yes. Yes. And so I'm pre-populating the platform to give give users some, like, people or stuff to engage with. And then they can generate their own personal review instead of seeing all these star ratings or a nasty review that could tarnish a vendor situation, and go from there.
I think the quote I liked, you sent me over a document earlier, and there's a quote in there that I really, really like, and I don't think it's giving too much away, so I'm going to say this statement now to give people an idea of the positioning of this. It says, it's time to turn the tables. Connect.io empowers professionals by providing a platform where they can research, compare, review, and directly engage with vendors, all whilst maintaining their I can't even say that word. Secrecy. This ensures a comfortable.
You just got me messing it up.
Anonymity. There we go. This ensures a comfortable and confident environment, free from the worries of information being sold, leaked, or data mined. All three things which you mentioned earlier. And when users are ready to establish, this is the key bit. When users are ready to establish formal communication, they then have the autonomy to choose when and how to reveal their information to the vendor. Now, as far as I'm aware, there isn't anything else out there in the market like that, right?
There's not. And for the audience, patent pending. So let's bring it on.
There's let's see who we got in the chat here before we dig back in. I know Fergal's there. Fergal McCardle, good to see you. Azam is in the house as well. LinkedIn user is Mr. Steve Armstrong. Good to see you, Steve. We've got Sarah Thaler. We've got the man Jonathan Van Houten, who's very envious of my scone and creams over here at the moment. Sorry, clotted cream. Peter Sala, Marianne, Justin, Alana. There's tons of you in there. And who have we got down the bottom? Brett Orr, Anthony Keaton. Are these colleagues, by the way, from Axis, perhaps?
And yes, Brett, Sarah, Anthony, Azam. Yes, they're all either former colleagues or current colleagues.
And what do your former and current colleagues, throwing it out there to you guys and girls in the chat, what do you think of what Cody's building? Are you as excited about it as I am? And I suppose, there we go, Lauren, proud of you, Cody.
So shout out to my colleagues, actually. Shriju, Azam, Carly. They've been so helpful and supportive, and Shriji's actually brought more ideas to the table. And if I say something, like, the three of them, they're more than willing to tell me, no, it's dumb, or, oh, that's great. And I always love learning and appreciate their help.
Yeah, it's teamwork makes the dream work. I think that's the answer, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You've got so many people dropping in here saying how proud they are of you. Hannah McKinn's just jumped in. Reed McNally.
That's my cousin. Hey, Anna.
How about that? There is something else afoot that we can't talk too much about. It's one of those streams today. We're going to tease you with a little bit of information and then not give you any more. But InfoSec Live are so overwhelmed by what Cody's putting together and want to get behind him so much that we're now looking at forming some kind of partnership. Right, Cody?
Absolutely. That is, I'm very, very excited, and I can't say much, but yes, there's great things coming.
And we're hoping that there might even be a little launch event in Austin, Texas, in the early part of next year.
Absolutely, yes.
You and I are working on that at the moment in the background. So Azam's just put a comment in there. Cody's one of the hardest working guys I've seen. Been a true joy watching him learn from his mistakes and continue building Connect. Only good things to come. You must feel so proud of this right now.
That's something I'm kind of struggling with, to be honest with you. I'd try to block out being proud and excited, truthfully, because I'll be proud and excited once everything's going and my mom's retired and I could give back to the community, and that's the thing that keeps me going. Is it's great and all, but we're only 5 steps into a marathon.
Do you know, I bet you're super lucky to have, I expect, a very, very proud mum there behind you, Cody. And I'm sure she'd agree with this comment that's come up here from, I think, Steve Armstrong, which says he needs to learn how to sleep. I know you said there's plenty of time for that later, but you do know that burnout is a real thing, right?
Not when you're Cody Kennedy. I promise you that. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast and heard Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he said that all the things he does, you only get 24 hours in a day, and he spends 18 hours doing everything else and then 6 hours of sleep. And he was like, people always say that I need 8 hours of sleep, but I get 6 hours. I just tell them to sleep faster.
You actually do a really good accent as well, right? And it's good to see that your mum agrees, Cody, as well. You do need to get a bit more sleep. But...
Oh, come on.
Yeah, mums are always right.
No, you can figure out how much sleep you need and can operate on, and then how much sleep you can be comfortable and continue producing quality. So I've kind of gauged it. I need 4 hours of sleep.
Wow.
To get something done. For quality, I need 6 hours of sleep. And then I don't need 8 hours, because you sleep a third of your life, and
there is a reason for that, though, right? Your body heals and repairs while you sleep, Cody. I'm going to keep telling you off about this because although some people do need less sleep than others, that's a medically proven fact. But if you're surviving on 4 hours sleep a night, there's going to come a point where you need to just cuddle down and have a good kip, brother.
Yeah, probably every 3 months or so, I'll just kind of take a step away and do nothing and sleep.
Okay. Well, let's move away from telling you off about your lack of sleep. You've had 3 people now, including your mum, telling you, so hopefully you'll start to listen. Where do you see Connect and Cody in 5 years' time? What's the vision?
Changing the world, because yes, I am starting in the cybersecurity industry because that's what I know. And you can't boil the ocean, but Connect not only solves problems in the cybersecurity industry, but it solves in other technology verticals. It solves in insurance. It solves problems in real estate, the auto, towing. Any market that needs demand generation, that spends money on cold calling, spamming, soliciting, Connect has a fit.
Yeah, I'm super excited for you, and I want to just recap over. I think there's 6 points that you kind of covered off while the bits you were going through, and the first one was that you've got a user-controlled anonymity. That's the word. Yes, said it. The fact that professionals can engage with vendors without revealing their identity until they choose to, ensuring that privacy and control at all stages. The next one was no data scraping, which in this industry is very unusual. Unlike other platforms, Connect is built on a foundation of respect for personal data. We never resort to invasive data mining or selling user information. Then you've got that streamlined discovery process, the platform being designed to cut through all the clutter, making it easier than ever for professionals to find the right security solutions tailored to their unique specific needs. And you've then got the trust word, which is super important within the industry, trust and transparency. The fact that you're committed to creating an environment where users can trust that their interactions are genuine and that their data is safeguarded. And you've then got direct vendor engagement, giving professionals the ability to directly connect with vendors, ensuring that communications are relevant. Again, this goes back to the cold outreach, right? Making sure they're relevant and based on mutual interest rather than that scattergun approach that seems to be so prevalent. And then finally, the zero cost for onboarding. The fact that for CISOs, leaders, decision makers, signing up on Connect is free, enabling those professionals to explore and benefit from the platform without any initial financial commitment. Did I cover off all the bits right there?
As much as we could dive into currently, yes.
Okay. We're just about out of time, Cody. So I want to take this opportunity to see if anyone in the audience has got any questions they want to throw at you before we wrap things up. And for me personally, I've got a couple of questions that I've sort of left to the end here. Comment there in the audience. Let me just read that one first. From the vendor perspective, this is huge. Reducing the burden, pain, cost, resource expense associated with quality opportunities is going to disrupt the marketing budgets everywhere. That's what you're hoping, right?
Yes. And I'm just biting my tongue because I want to dive into all the statistics and research.
We'll be back. We'll be back online on this show in January, where you can tell everyone everything about it in high level and fine level detail. But I think for your protection and for the future of connecting your family, we need to not give too much away at this point, right? Here we go. Jonathan Van Houten, who is a decision maker, who I met in Tampa a couple of weeks ago. And we've struck up a little bit of a friendship, Jonathan, over our mutual love of baked beans, scones and clotted cream. And Jonathan says, will the platform do any ML AI-driven collation and comparisons between vendors operating in the same space? This question has been designed for you, I think.
Yes, perfect question. So when you log on, you're going to be able to see. So AI is populating towards each user. At first, it's going to be just like a random selection, but then over time, AI is going to analyze what you've researched and populate based off of your past. So you're going to be able to compare each vendor or compare multiple, as many as you want, and then over time on our timeline, AI is going to help with our database. Like if someone says they do X, Y, Z, but they only do X and Y, then our AI is going to flag that and let you know. So it's not like I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I hope I covered your question relatively.
I think you have. The answer is yes, but the learning model will improve over time with how much you use it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. William Leslie, this is quite a relevant question for you here. I think we can both give a little bit of advice on this, seeing as I've got children the same age as William and yourself. And the question was, for a college student who's striving to become an entrepreneur, what do they need to begin doing now to help them in the future?
We always talk. Will was to give you some background. Will, I was in a fraternity in college, and Will is actually one of my good friends in my fraternity, Little. And but to answer your question, Will, I'd say you. When I was in a couple years ago, I walked around saying, "I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be a millionaire." And people were like, "How?" I didn't know how, but I knew I was going to do it. So I would say just analyze and learn as much as you can while you're in school, and then like dive into other industries. And then I don't have like, it's kind of like being an SDR. Like there's no magic click. But I will say, when you do start something and you want to pursue it, you can't just you can't just do it half time. Like you have to be fully dedicated. Like I personally, I've cut out things that don't add value to my life. I don't go out. I don't drink, because I'm dedicated and I will make this happen, and I will make this a successful company. So once you have that why, and you just have that feeling in your stomach of this will happen or I will die trying, you can't teach that or learn that. It just has to come within, if that makes sense.
I think it's a great answer. And to elaborate on that a little bit, a couple of points. First one, make sure you understand what success actually means to you. And Cody mentioned a moment ago he was determined to be a millionaire, which to me sounds like a little bit of a vanity metric, which is kind of what I had in the past. However, if you dig around underneath the bonnet as to why Cody wants to become a millionaire, it's a very selfless reason, because he wants to make sure his family are looked after. So being an entrepreneur is one of the most rewarding and difficult soul-destroying things you could ever embark on. So I think for me, making sure you know what success is to you, and then the final statement would be your network is your net worth. So if you're just starting out and you're not sure what you want to be an entrepreneur in, the more people you can get to speak with, learn from, build relationships with, the more clarity it's going to bring you over time as to what it is you actually want to do. And not wanting to scare you, William, I've set up lots of businesses. Some have been extremely successful and one's extremely unsuccessful that I destroyed back in 2019. But the one thing in common is hard work. As Cody said, you can't go into it half-assed. You have to throw yourself into it completely, and you do have to make other sacrifices. However, it's important to remember what you're making those sacrifices for. Because if the end game is that you spend less time working and more time with loved ones and family, you need to work out a way to do that as an entrepreneur. Next question from Prashant. Big question of the interview. Scone, jam or cream first? Oh, it's a difficult one. Prashant, I'm going to go against the grain here and say that I'll cut mine in half and put jam on one side and clotted cream on the other and just smush it together and get it like get it on that. But I do eat like an animal, so maybe I'm not the best person to ask. Any final words? Anything we haven't talked about, Cody, before we wrap things up? I'm just going to look at my list because I think I've got a couple of questions here. But anything you want to bring up and mention?
So going back to what I mentioned about Will's question, so I just want to thank you for clarifying that, because that used to be my mindset until I learned what in the position I am in now. So I appreciate you clarifying that, because I didn't want
to give it all away, and I might do it anyway and just make you blush. But the fact, what was your mum's name, Cody? Belinda. The first thing your son told me was that he was doing this to look after his mum, which I think is one of the nicest and best reasons I've ever heard for someone wanting success. So yeah, it's amazing. Javier has asked a question in relation to that. What do you think gave you that mentality and mindset? Thanks, Javier. This is my next question. And any specific role models, or as the question I've got written down here, who's been your biggest inspiration as well?
So to answer Javier's question first, I don't know. I really don't. The Lord is what I'd say. Because you can't, like, doing this is not for everyone, and you have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. It does get lonely, and like I see why people don't continue doing this, because you isolate yourself. But if you can just battle through that and focus and keep your eye on the end goal. Sorry, expectation. I don't have goals. I have expectations. I want to clear that up. But once you have that in mind, then you can't teach it. It's just something you feel.
But you must have.
I hope that answers the question.
Who's given you? You must have learned your work ethic and your determination must have come from somewhere. It could have been family inspiration. It could have been people that you were at school with. Have you worked out what that is? Or is it just you, Cody? Is it just who you are?
I've come across many hard workers. My brother, he's super driven and hardworking. My sister, she makes me look like a sack of rocks when it comes to brains. Yeah, she's getting her PhD in biomedical engineering, and I just don't have a clear answer for that. And to answer the question, the follow up from what you mentioned after Javi's question was my role model. Um, Throughout this process since November, or I guess my life, I don't have that one role model necessarily. There's been so many individuals like Jeff Luttrell, Dave Bowden, Alex Green. There's so many I can name off, but it's not a who, in my opinion, or it's a why or how or what. Like in the words of Robert Herjavec, he has a quote that people who succeed in life, yes, the CEO of Sideris, his quote is, people who succeed in life have a need for something greater than themselves. And I actually came across that the other week because I'm not doing this for me. Like Connect could crumble tomorrow and I'm still going to pick up because I have three whys in life that keep me going: the Lord, my mom, and my future family. And I'm not going to stop doing it. This is going to make me like a little emotional because that happens whenever I think about it, because it's like I don't care how hard or what it takes. Like I will not stop until those three things are complete.
And I
if
believe
stuff
you.
happens, then I can
I believe that you're
restart
one of the
something else
most
tomorrow.
driven people I've ever met, Cody, I think. And going back to, was it Williams? Yeah, Williams' question. I think the big differentiator between you and myself when I was your age and up until probably about 5 years ago is you listen to other people and you take advice from other people. And that can be a really difficult thing for people to do. So the fact that you're doing that on a daily basis is probably why you're head and shoulders above a lot of your peers at the moment.
Always being a student practitioner. Like I'm 24. There's so much I don't know, and I'll be the first person to say that. But I promise you, I will figure it out, and I will learn. And if you can constantly gain knowledge and increase your knowledge on the industry, then that only propels you. But also, if you can engage with your network, if you reach out to someone for help and because you want to learn based off their experience, that's so much. There's so much more receptive than if you're reaching out to give me 15 minutes of your time to look at this. And it's like just be a student of life.
That's great advice. It really is. Last question. Actually, we'll take the one that's come in. I don't know how much you can discuss on this, but I'll give you a go on it. From Anthony Keaton. What's the 2024 roadmap look like? How far can you speak on that? About January far?
Yeah, I was about to say about January. The end of January, I could say, is when we're planning to have an event. I don't know if I can speak much on the event, but
we're looking at organising an event now in Austin. We won't say where because we haven't had confirmation on that back yet. But I'll be coming over for it for the launch as well, and we're looking at doing something at the end of January, early Feb, I think. With regards to roadmap now, Anthony, what Cody needs is leaders to get involved with what he's doing and pre-register for the platform. So if there's anyone, I'm putting words in your mouth here, by the way, if there's anyone watching who is interested, the link to pre-register is right there. And again, if you're not connected with Cody on LinkedIn, I thoroughly suggest you do. And the link to connect with him is there as well. I will put the link to the pre-registration in the description of the event afterwards because it makes it a little bit easier for people to click on that to register. And Cody, I just want to say it's been an honor and a privilege to be chatting with you the last few weeks, and I'm super, super excited, like so many people are in the chat, as to what 2024 and beyond brings for Cody and Connect, because if we can get the leaders involved in this and the leaders bought in and giving feedback and helping you tinker or tailor with it as much as you need to get it to be fit for purpose for them, this is what it's all about, right? I would suggest anyone reaching out to Cody straight away on that. Sorry, you're going to say something.
Yes. So Simon, you have been a huge, like it's my, I feel honored to be invited and for you to invite me on and speak about Connect. And I've been blessed with Jay introducing us. So like honor, privilege, like all my, like, thank you for everything you've
Oh, mate,
done
I
and
haven't
all
done
your
anything. I
help.
just you tell me what your ideas are. I tell you how amazingly impressive they are. And we've been carrying on like that for 4 weeks. I'm sure it'll get to the point where I say at one point I'm not sure about this, but everything you're doing is so far is spot on. Jonathan, thank you so much for registering. William, I will address your question before we wrap things up. You said if you've got a business idea but don't know where to start, what's the first move you make? Look online for business model canvas. I think you'll find it on strategizer.com. For me, it's one of the best known tools for creating and analysing any potential business models. And I've got it somewhere here. Hold on, let me find it. Here we go.
Simon, why?
So this,
My
I
bad.
don't know if you can see it. You can't. This is what it looks like. You can find this online anywhere. There's a free document. It's called Business Model Canvas. And it will take you through customer segmentation, value proposition, customer relationships, channels, costs, revenue streams, key resources, key activities, key partners, and obviously your cost structure as well. And then it will give you the opportunity to then do different angles of analysis on that to see whether what you're thinking about doing makes sense. Now, I've only been using this for the last few weeks, and I'm doing this for InfoSec Live at the moment. I wish I'd have had this throughout my whole adult life of having businesses, because it would have saved me a lot of pain and helped me identify a lot of opportunities. And again, William, if you want to spend 15 minutes on a call, me running you through, I've probably got some PDF type documents I can send you across to help you with that. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll just get my link and drop this in here for you as well. Anything you'd add to that, Cody?
Yes, I guess coming from a Connect point of view, when the light bulb went off, I had no earthly clue where to start. And believe it or not, I don't. I hope he doesn't kill me for mentioning his name, but Dave Bowden. I actually just randomly reached out to him, and I just wanted to learn because I saw that he started 3 companies, he sold 2, and he's been there, done that, and he's a very, very intelligent man. And he kind of paved the path and told me what I need to do to get things done, as in like LLC to incorporated to yada yada yada. So reaching out to someone is not a horrible idea, especially if you're someone young just trying to learn.
Yeah, completely agree. Last question from me, and then we'll wrap things up. What's the best book you've read in the last year? Where is it?
Truthfully,
you must have one somewhere.
My Bible.
Yeah. Talk to me about how that helps you. I'm interested, genuinely interested.
So I've been getting really a lot more in touch with my faith, and that's kind of how I handle stress and problems. Is I'll take a step away, and then I'll read my Bible and I'll pray, and it just like disappears. And then also kind of I just like to learn about from a biblical point of view of how things have started and progressed. And I mean, I'm this far into it, but it's probably the best thing, and it calms your brain and personally calms me down, and just makes me remember why I'm doing this, and that instead of being stressed, I just take things one step at a time. And so I'd say 100% my Bible, because you the reason why I don't have I don't want to pick any other book, because they all like say the same stuff in different ways, shapes, or form. It's like, thanks, but
let me find mine. So this is a very old book by a guy called Maxwell Maltz, and it's called, there it is, Psycho-Cybernetics. It was written in the 1960s, And if the information I've read is correct, it was the precursor to every single one of those self-help books that you see all over the shelves at the moment. And you have to excuse it. It is a little bit archaic the way it's written. It's slightly older than me, so you can imagine it's written in a bit of a different language. But the underlying processes within it and the underlying message in it is the same. And that is about taking time to reflect everything that you've just said, but without the Bible. Taking that time to yourself, that quiet time, is when your ideas and inspiration comes. It's not when you've got your head stuck into your work. It's when you're in the shower, or when you're walking the dog, or reading the Bible, or whatever it may be. And I think that the way our subconscious brains work is they do all the work for us if we put the right information in. And if you spend your life being stressed and negative, your subconscious is really good at delivering on that for you. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you put positivity in and give yourself a chance to breathe, then your subconscious picks up on that and really, really helps you. That's my opinion. And it might be God. I'm not sure. I haven't quite got the faith yet. And it's a relevant discussion because when I went through my breakdown 4 years ago, lost everything. And this sounds like a joke. There were 3 people who stood up and tried to help me, although I pushed them all away. And one was a Jehovah's Witness, one was a Muslim, and one was a born-again Christian. And all those 3 people had the same things in common, where they had that genuine desire and love to try and help people. So I read up lots on different religions back in 2018 and 2019. And for me, I found it very difficult to nail my colours to any one of those masks because of that experience I'd had with those 3 different people. However, when Mum passed away 6 weeks ago now, I had to go in and see the local vicar in our church who came and did the service. And when I got home, my wife actually said to me, shall we start going to church? So you never know, we might be having this conversation again in a few months where I can actually quote you some biblical stories as well. You never know.
It's like I've always been a Christian. I know it's not like something to talk about, but I honestly don't care. People hate me for it because it's not my problem. But I'm not a perfect Christian. I still mess up. I just try to do something that's not for me, but for the man above and the future.
And I think that's what life's all about. The sooner you realize that there's more pleasure and fulfillment in helping other people than there is helping yourself, life becomes a much better experience for you.
And to kind of go off of what you said, when ideas come to you when you're not working, that reminds me of, I think I've texted you a couple times in the middle of the night when I just woken up. Like at 3 a.m. I'm like, dude, Simon, I just thought of it, and you're like, go to sleep, man. And I'm up at that point because once the wheels are turning, I just go to my desk and I start getting to it.
Do you keep a pen and paper or anything next to your bed? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that'd be my top tip for anyone. Make sure you've got that, because if I have a great idea during the night and don't write it down, there's no way I'm remembering what that was when I wake up in the morning. But we've gone off topic a little bit. I should bring it back round and wrap things up because we're just about time. But Cody, thank you for sharing that. It's super interesting to know what drives you as a founder. And I think from the engagement of the audience, you've got lots of people interested, not only in what you're doing at Connect, but in Cody as a person. And I'd recommend, as I said a few moments ago, for anyone who hasn't, I'll drop the link in again and make sure it's in the right place. There is a pre-registration that Jonathan's very kindly registered on. If you're interested, please do pre-register. Or if you want to chat with Cody, his LinkedIn link is there as well. So Cody, thank you so much. I'm now going to go and have what us British people call our tea or dinner to the rest of you normal people out there.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I know. And I think we're back next Monday for the next show. I can't remember which one it is, but watch out on YouTube, watch out on LinkedIn. We'll keep you posted. And Cody and I will be back on here in the new year to firm up those details around what you're doing at connect.io, Cody, right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Simon. And thank you so much for the audience. I appreciate you all. And it's just a blessing.
It's a pleasure.
We're only 5 steps into a marathon.
We're getting there. Definitely are. Good to see you, Liam. Hi, bye. And Nolan, thank you for saying great podcast. Really appreciate it. Everyone, have a great rest of the day, whatever you're doing. Keep on going. Cody, keep up the amazing work, my friend. We'll see you all soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.